Gentlemen, welcome back to the Festus Fantasy Football Forum on the Fantasy Jacks podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in, and thank y'all for listening if you're doing that on the podcast version. This is week 12, guys. Week fucking 12. It's already almost the end of it, and I'm sad. Got a great show. Probably the biggest week of the season this year so far. Week 12. I'm going to go over matchup reviews of week 11, just kind of touch on those. Some You Fucked Up awards, and some plays of the week, so stick around for that. Matchup previews for week 12. Again, biggest week of the season. You guys are going to want to stay tuned. I got some videos for you guys, so hopefully you enjoy them. And then the updated power rankings, and I'll probably go over the playoff bracket projections and stuff of that nature. So, like I said, going to be a great video. Let's get started. This is going to be one take for me. Usually I kind of break it up, but I was sick yesterday, so I'm having to do this all today. I'm kind of a beast though, so it should work out fine. Let's get started here with the highest scoring team of the year so far, the 08 Lions, taking down Off to Grandma. He beats Off to Grandma 165.18 to 107.68. Man, I remember when saying the beat Off to Grandma was like a whoa, I can't believe he just said that. And now it's happened so many times. Colin's team looked fantastic this week. Saquon Barkley looked like Saquon Barkley as he traded for. Justin Herbert, Pookie did great. And Jonnu Smith in the tight end position was a great waiver wire addition. It didn't give him the win per se, but it was a great addition nonetheless. Maybe he is the starter moving forward. I don't know. That's potentially a controversy for the 08 Lions because Sam Laporta is still there. But he's just been shit. Now he's injured to score 165 points even without Mike Evans. And as for Off to Grandma, just another 7 straight losses. Another bad week. 7 straight losses. Darnell Mooney gets injured, which is a big problem for this team. When you look around, 107 really isn't a terrible score. He would have beaten a few other teams this week, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4 other teams. So it's just kind of bad luck that you went against Colin. However, 107, it's nothing like this team busted. It's kind of just what they've been doing recently.
I'm having a very bad day. I'm in no mood. This, today, is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
Next up, guys, I fucking called it. Nailed it. Killer offseason. Taking down Reese's Backpack 100.24 to 68.32. And this was my upset pick of the week. Nailed it. And did I nail it because I was super smart? Yes. But also because Jay Gill was on the IR on Sunday and didn't realize George Kittle wasn't going to be playing. So he got a 0 points out of that. And that sucks because this is Breece Hall's best game of the year. And he got nothing to show out of it. On top of that, Kirk Cousins put up 5 points. Anthony Richardson scored 28 on his bench. So, you add 28 points. You maybe find a tight end somewhere on the waiver wire. I know Will Dissly was out there. It's very possible that Jay Gill wins this game. So he does, in fact, get a You Fucked Up award for that. It's a tough look for Jay Gill. Now there's a real controversy in that North Division and potentially the last playoff wildcard spot. Jay Gill on a, I believe, 2 or 3 game losing streak. Judson's coming up the rear. It's going to come down to, I think, the last week. This will be really interesting to monitor. Like I said, Jay Gill's team not in the best spot, especially with Kareem Hunt potentially losing his job soon. And now you have no idea what to do about your quarterback because the minute you start Anthony Richardson again, he's going to suck. It's just how it goes. Let's go to, I don't even want to really talk about this one, but I will. Thank you, Lamar, beating the Guardians of Your Mom's House 111.54 to 107.54. And yes, I may or may not have had Taysom Hill on the bench that scored 41.52 points. I get a You Fucked Up award for that, for starting Knox over him. This was a tough one. This is by far the worst loss I've felt this year. I'll just put it at that. Dom knew what he was doing. It also sucked that 3 of the players that I traded to him beat me. Chase Brown went off. Joe Burrow went off. That sucks. They outperformed all of my players pretty much. So I had Pickens, had Jamar, nothing after that. CeeDee Lamb too, almost did it. For thank you to Lamar, when you look at this team now, it's looking pretty good. A PPR value team, right? I don't know how many touchdowns this team's going to score week in and week out, but it's the PPR value out of this team. Chase Brown, Khalil Shakir, Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley. I think those are PPR guys. And then you got Joe Burrow, who's, pretty much QB1. Wan'Dale Robinson as well. I like it. Just got to score some touchdowns. And if this team is scoring touchdowns, there's no shot in my mind that they're losing in a week. So something to keep in mind. The Dogs took down Bear Down this weekend. Again, not really a shocker to say that. I think he's lost 5 straight games. 96.58 to 76.3. It did come down to Monday night. And unfortunately for Brock, Tank Dell is just not him. He had a lot of people on bye, so he does get a little bit of a pass. But Tyler actually gets a play of the week for starting J-Mo over Tucker Kraft and Rico Dowdle. Very happy for him to do that. Congrats, buddy. Now the Dogs are number 1 in the East Division on a, I believe, 5-game winning streak. Very impressive stuff there. But he's got a tough matchup this week, and we'll get into that. So, Bear Down, it's just falling all apart. Look at Raheem Mostert. I'm tired of this Raheem Mostert play. You could have went on the waiver wire and gotten any second-string running back, and they would have played better than Raheem Mostert. I'm tired of it. I don't know why you stuck with him so many weeks. It's just sickening. I know you're waiting on Jonathan Brooks, but at some point you had to have said to yourself, hey, maybe I shouldn't have this guy playing for my team. Maybe you thought that. I don't think you did. Let's go to We Are Shit taking down Jaxie Pad. And 143 points basically to 119.48. Out of nowhere, Tony's team just went the fuck off. I don't think this team has sniffed 143 points. I don't think this team has scored 120 points. And look, it just absolutely boomed. Bo Nix, fantastic waiver wire ad. T. Higgins was back. Puka was back. Hunter Henry, I think, was a good trade, honestly. You lost Chase Brown, but Hunter Henry's been good for you in that tight end position. And Elijah Moore has been pretty good. So even without Rachaad White and Marvin Harrison this week, you score 143 points. It's very impressive. You look at Chris, he finally had a good week out of the quarterback position. He didn't even really play bad. He would have beat a lot of other teams this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other teams. Now 4-7. I would say they're out of it, but 7-7 could sneak in this year. But Chris falling to 3-8, he is, I'm going to call it like election night. It's over. He's not making the playoffs with 8 losses. It's never happened. It won't happen, especially when his division has, it's already been clinched. It's impossible at this point, I think, to make the playoffs with an 8-loss record. So thanks for playing, Chris. Now you can just play to, improve your draft choice next year. And finally, the primetime game, we got Can't Chubb Check taking on Team Didi. And he beat Team Didi, which I'm very thankful for. 155.38 to 139.64. I needed this personally, and thank God Mez finally came through for me. Joe Mixon's fucking insane. Joe Mixon, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Holy hell. I think I made a point on here on one week. I don't remember what week it was, but I said, whenever Lamar has a bad game, Mez is going to have a bad game. Well, I was fucking wrong about that because he had 15 points and he, I think, scored the most he's had all season. So, I don't really know what to say about Can't Chubb Check. It's the dominance that we have not seen, and it's literally, he just tied the record for 8 straight wins. He's already in the record books, Mez. You clinch your division, so congrats there. I already got you scribbled in. Who's stopping this team? 139 points couldn't do it. 120 points can't do it. It's going to be so tough to see Mez go down. He's, once again, the points leader. And as for Team Didi, a great showing. Brock Bowers, Juwan Jennings, James Cook, great showings. But Derrick Henry, your new acquisition, let you down. Nico Collins, coming back from the hamstring injury, sort of let you down. It would have been super close. But Team Didi, you get a You Fucked Up award for the Derrick Henry trade. If you don't trade Derrick Henry last week, and you played the Javonte Williams, which you would have, and you would have played Cortland Sutton for D-Hop, you would have won this week. So you, my friend, get a You Fucked Up award. Congratulations. Trust me, I know a thing or two about making trades and then getting You Fucked Up awards, Austin. It's okay. So that'll do it for the Week 11 recaps. Alright guys, here we go. Dak Prescott. Week 12 matchup previews. I want to say this too before we get rolling into these previews. There could have been a lot of primetime matchups this week. I chose the one that I chose because of the recent performances from the teams and the implications of the wild card scenario. I can't keep putting Mez in every single week just because he's the best team. So I put in the team that I did, and you guys will see for specific reasons. So let's start off here with, trust me, this one's not primetime. Off to Grandma, and we are shit. Almost dead even on the projected totals, 109.5 to 109.3. I'm really excited about this matchup because I think we are shit's actually kind of hitting a stride here. Bo Nix has been great. Puka Nacua has been great. And when you look at Off to Grandma, this would be to tie the longest losing streak in league history with Jay Gill from 2 years ago in 2022. So a lot of rides on this game for both teams. I mean, for Tony, maybe you sneak into the playoffs with a 7-7 record. You have to win out, obviously. But for AJ, you don't want to go into the record books. You don't want to tie Jay Gill with 8 straight losses. That would suck for you. That would really suck. When I look at Malik Neighbors against Tampa, I like that. Zach Ertz against Dallas, I like that. AJ Brown against the Rams, I kind of like. I don't know. That'll be a fun game to watch, though. Kyron obviously in that game as well. That's going to suck for him. Eagles are a great run defense. But they're also a great pass defense, too. So when you look across the pond, Puka Nacua against the Eagles is not going to be a great game. This really could go either way. I'm going to look at the quarterbacks right now, and I look at Bo Nix versus Vegas and CJ Stroud versus Tennessee. Bo Nix is going to outperform CJ Stroud this week. I'm 99% sure of it. I'm going to take We Are Shit, mainly for that reason, because Bo Nix, his ability to score 25, 30 points is so impactful for a team, especially whenever you have CJ Stroud just holding you down every single week. He might not get 15 points. He might not get 10. And when you look at the skill positions, it's going to be tough for both sides, but quarterback really separates it for him. Let's go to Bear Down and Chris's team. Bear Down has a 98.5 point projection total. Ew. Fucking ew. So gross, so bad, so terrible. Finally sitting Raheem Mostert, though. Thank fucking God. No Drake London this week, which does suck for him. He has some pretty good receivers to carry the load, but I can't believe Chris is projected more than a team by this much. I mean, 55% chance to win. I don't think that's happened all season. So congrats to you, Chris. He's going to be rolling back Jared Goff, Christian McCaffrey, obviously, Tyreek Hill, obviously. I think the big start-sit decision for Chris is Austin Eckler or Nick Chubb. I'm seeing Austin Eckler in the flex right now. I don't hate that play at all, considering he's very well used and Nick Chubb's got a terrible matchup. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think I'm going to have to go with Chris to win this week. I know, shocking. I don't think I've picked him once this whole year, and it's because his team has not been good. However, maybe he plays for pride at this point. Stopping Brock from getting to the playoffs is always an alternative motive for Chris. He gets to do that this week and potentially help his draft pick. Next up, I want to go to Team Didi and killer offseason facing off, 115.8 to 100.1. I think this will actually be a sneaky competitive game here. Kyle Pitts on bye, which is going to suck for Judson. And as for Team Didi, I mean, James Cook is on a bye, but other than that, he is ready to go, especially for bounce-back performances, I'd say, should be expected out of Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. It's very well possible that Team Didi can bust. And not a good bust, a bad bust, because he had such great performances from players last week, like Juwan Jennings, like Brock Bowers, like Javonte Williams. They could come through and absolutely shit the bed this week. You know, you already know what you're going to get out of Jalen Hurts. You're going to get 20. Nico Collins against a tough Tennessee pass defense. I don't know what's going to happen. Derrick Henry against a tough Chargers defense. Going to Judson, okay? He has some decent matchups. Devon Achane against New England's a good matchup for him. And that is fucking it. That's it. Kyler Murray against Seattle, I guess. But I mean, JK against the Baltimore Ravens is terrible. Cooper Kupp against Philadelphia is terrible. No tight end as of now. Keenan Allen is just not good this year, and that sucks to say because I love me some Keenan Allen. Does Pat Mahomes get a start against Carolina? Although this could be a very low-scoring affair, and although I think both teams go under these projections, I still got Austin winning this week, unfortunately. I just think his team is just too good for Judson at this point. Judson is in do-or-die mode right now. Going to 5-6, maybe he rattles off a couple more wins and we see this team in the playoffs. That'd be a crazy story. I'm going to get to the Guardians of your mom's house taking on the 08 Lions. The lowest projected total for the Guardians this whole season by a long shot. 107.4 to 119.5. The Guardians got hit the most out of any other team this week with the bye weeks, losing Jamar Chase, Alvin Kamara, Kincaid, Taysom Hill, Travis Etienne, but he's fucking terrible, so it doesn't even matter. And the 08 Lions avoid all bye weeks, not a single bye week. I don't even know how that's possible, but he did. And he's coming in fully ready to go on top of getting Mike Evans back. So, to say the least, I'm fucking scared. I'm just scared. I have Cole Kmet back at tight end. Super excited to have him back. And I have Kayshon Boutte and Tajay Spears in the flexes. This was not supposed to be this bad. I was supposed to be 7-4 coming in, lose this game, no big deal. But now, season potentially on the line. Look, I'm gonna say it right now, there's no way I win this game. Okay, I think I have some good matchups with Jaden Daniels and George Pickens, but that's not enough to beat fucking Saquon and Jahmyr Gibbs and DK Metcalf and Josh Downs against a good matchup against Detroit. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I have no clue. Mike Evans coming back, maybe on a limited snap count against the Giants. Already a good pass defense. Maybe that helps me. No idea. Justin Herbert, Pookie. I'm just going to leave it at that. So yeah, I don't know how I win this week unless I get some legacy performances out of Jaden Daniels and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I need fucking Jaden Daniels to show up. He's been fucking ass. The past few weeks he's been ass, and I'm fucking tired of him. I'm just so sick of it. So yeah, Colin wins this week, guys. Last Sunday game of the week. Hope you guys have enjoyed this thus far. We got, and this is a big one, guys. Really big one. The Dogs taking on Can't Chub Check. 103.4 to 129.4 at the time I'm recording this. Tyler is, in the game except Bijan, Josh Allen, Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas. So he's got the bye week bug pretty bad too. And somehow, I don't know how this is fucking possible, but all Mez has is one guy out on bye, Devontae Adams, which he's been hit or miss anyways. Quentin Johnson moves into that spot with Tyrone Tracy filling in the flex. This is a big game, guys, because this is for the all-time win streak record. And conveniently, ironically set by Ty a few years ago. I actually have a video from Ty. I asked him to send something in because this is a big matchup for him and for Mez, obviously, but record book wise, this is a big game. So I'm going to play that right now for you guys. Take a look.
Hola, League. So Jax hit me up. Wanted to get my thoughts on me and Mez's upcoming matchup. Him possibly breaking my record for longest win streak. I hope he breaks every single record from that year so I can stop fucking hearing about it because it pisses me off every time it's brought up. And then to Mez, if you do get all these records, you better fucking win the league because it's going to eat at you if you don't.
Thank you so much, Ty. Again, this was a huge game for him, I think, for a sense of pride. You're already 7-4. You probably don't have to stress too much about winning at this point. 7 wins is what you had to get to, and you finally got to it. So that's great. When I do look at your team, though, tough matchups and just tough that you had to fight the injury bug, myself included. I know the feeling. Not to say you can't make this competitive, okay? Najee Harris is going to be pretty decent for you this week. I think Terry McLaurin is going to be pretty decent for you. I think Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce are going to be pretty decent for you this week, right? You're going to take the shot on Jalen McMillan. I don't really know what to say about that. Tucker Kraft, I guess you're not confident enough to start him. I don't blame you for that. When you look at Mez, it's Mez's team, but he doesn't have great matchups, Ty. There's definitely a chance here. This won't be a high-scoring game, considering Can't Chub Check just boomed, and although the Dogs, they had 100 points last week, it's not really encouraging to bust last week with your whole squad and then have everyone fucking go out on bye. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to go with Mez to win this week. Although tough matchups, he's just got better players. And that's not to say Ty's got a bad team. He's just got more availability not on bye this week. And that's the big key narrative this week for a lot of teams who survived the bye week bug. Finally, let's go to the primetime game, guys. And I have Breece's backpack taking on Thank You Tomorrow. And before we get into our breakdown, as we have been doing, I'm going to go back and we're going to go through the historical matchups between these two teams. Both these guys have been in the league for a very, very long time. Both going back to the recorded history of the league. Dom actually one of the founders, if you can believe that. So guys, I'm going to take you guys back to 2021, where Team Nolfo at the time took down Black Hammer 90.88 to 63.6, one of the lowest scoring games ever. Only 153 points. Pretty mid, but this was a good year for Dom. He went 9-5. This was this wasn't the bad year for Jay Gill, but this was the year before the year, if you know what I'm saying. So then their next matchup goes to 2022. Week 6, guys. It was team processed by league manager taking down Lamar's backpack at 105.4 to 76.1. And this was a team processed by league manager. What a funny time. Again, another low-scoring affair. However, Dom is going to 2-0 all-time against Jago at this point. And this is when they start playing twice a year. Go to week 12 of 2022. Like I said, the schedule, that's how it's kind of lined up the past few years. It's been the same each year. And this time, absolutely exploded from a 48-point performance from Josh Jacobs, if you can remember that game. A 168.52 to 76.06. Look, this was a tough year for Jay Gill, and he had Lamar and Alvin Kamara and Kenneth Walker and Drake London. Nowadays, that'd be a fucking fantastic team. But in 2022, it just wasn't. So obviously, guys, Jay Gill didn't make the playoffs that year. It's okay, though, Jay Gill, because in 2023, you finally had your good year. You got to go to week 6 of 2023, where Thank You to Mar, where he renamed his team, narrowly escapes Marmonte's victim that he renamed it. It was Lamar's backpack this time. 121.4 to 119.92, one of the closest games ever in league history. So Dom has Jay Gill's number 3-0 all time. Or 4-0 all time, I'm sorry. Against Jay Gill. Jay Gill had Amon-Ra and Stephon Diggs both scored 20 plus. That crazy combo, but that's when Dom had all the running backs, if you guys remember. So then go to week 12, and again, another super close performance. And this time, Jay Gill finally gets his ones in against Dom. Again, it was, Lamar's backpack, but 127.78 to 126.4. A very close game again. It's almost like cinema between these two teams. This was a great year for Jay Gill. Dom ends up missing the playoffs this season. I believe it was actually his first time he missed the playoffs. And that brings us to today.
Figured I'd send this video now because I feel like shit and I'm not going to get to it tonight. My whole team's on bye. Fucking, I need to win this week and win the next week and win the next week, but my team's on bye, so I can't really do anything. Jay Gill's team sucks. I just hope he pulls the Jackson and scores half of his projected points he's supposed to score, and I win again, and then I can do the same thing, and I make the playoffs. See you guys.
Dom has a 4-1 advantage all time against Jay Gill. Both managers honestly fighting for a playoff spot, I would say. You can't be complacent if you are Jay Gill or if you are Dom. I mean, especially Jay Gill, because even though you're in second place in your division, you got a lot of people coming up your rear end. And I don't think you're someone that likes people coming up their rear end, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe you do. I don't judge if that's the case. But thank you tomorrow. 94.3 to 103.7 for Jay Gill. Thank you tomorrow is another team bitten by the bye week bug, losing Khalil Shakir, Joe Burrow, and Chase Brown. He did make a trade. He had Evan Ingram out on bye, and I kind of like this move. He trades for Dallas Goedert, so he avoids a bye week from his tight end position, even though he picked up Will Dissly off of waivers. Fuck you for that, because I wanted him. Both these guys have a bench spot open. Fuck you guys. Fucking fill those. Jay Gill, bye weeks of his own. Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, both out on bye. That's going to be tough for him to overcome. Luckily for him, Kareem Hunt still has a starting job, I believe, football. But let's, regardless, get into this breakdown. A low scoring projected total between the two teams. Jay Gill's got about a 9-point advantage. That's going to come in. Key to remember. When we're breaking this down, Anthony Richardson's going to be starting again for Jay Gill. I don't know how much he likes that, but he's got to do it because he's the only other quarterback on the roster. And against Detroit, you don't like that matchup at all. But you go to Geno Smith against Arizona, you don't really like that matchup either. Even though Geno Smith has been playing good, but then he plays bad, but then he plays good again, and then bad again. I don't understand Geno Smith. I don't think anyone does. Kareem Hunt against Jalen Warren, this could honestly be a wash. 10 to 12 points just based on PPR value. Kareem Hunt, though, I think it's going to be the better of these two. Aaron Jones against Chuba Hubbard. Listen, Kansas City's got a great run defense. I don't expect Chuba Hubbard to have a good game at all, especially with Jonathan Brooks coming back. He won't get too much of the work, but still, on the top of a tough matchup, it's just not going to be ideal for Chuba Hubbard. So Aaron Jones is probably going to win that, especially because Chicago is a good run funnel team. You can't really pass against them, but you can run all over them. Zay Flowers against the Chargers, and Calvin Ridley against Houston. This could go either way. Honestly, it could, because you saw what CeeDee Lamb did to Houston, but then you saw what Jamar and T. Higgins did to the Chargers. Zay Flowers could do that. He's a yak guy, yards after catch. It's very possible. I'd probably take Zay Flowers in that scenario. And then you go to Cortland Sutton versus Xavier Legette. I'm going to go Sutton there all day of the week. Vegas has a terrible pass defense, and Legette is going to be facing some tough secondary problems. George Kittle against Dallas Goedert. I like George Kittle in this matchup against Green Bay over Dallas Goedert against the Rams, just because I don't really trust Dallas Goedert in the Philadelphia offense just yet. Not saying he can't go off this week, because he has, or at least he did last week. It's very possible that Dallas Goedert goes off this week. But over George Kittle, who's tight end one, besides Brock Bowers, but in terms of consistency, he's tight end one, in my opinion. I'll take George Kittle there. Wan'Dale Robinson against Xavier Worthy. Again, I hate this Xavier Worthy play just because I don't like him in the offense this year. I just don't. Wan'Dale Robinson against Tampa Bay's defense, that's a good matchup. However, you have Tommy DeVito coming in to be quarterback. I don't know how much you have faith in a backup quarterback throwing to a number 2 receiver. It doesn't really work all the time. I feel like it's going to be the Malik Neighbors show. Maybe Wan'Dale gets some PPR value. I don't know. I'd still take him over Xavier Worthy, but if Xavier Worthy gets a touchdown, he's going to blow Wan'Dale out of the water. And the final spot of these lineups this week is TJ Hawkinson against Rashad Bateman, okay? Jay Gill rolling with the 22 personnel. Absolutely love it. 2 running backs, 2 tight ends. Hawkinson against Chicago. I don't know how I feel about that. Usain Tucker-Kraft gets shut down by Chicago. And Rashad Bateman against the Chargers, I think actually that's going to be a pretty good matchup for him. Just based on what I saw last week out of both teams, they're kind of wanting to use Rashad Bateman more. He just couldn't get open against Pittsburgh, and T. Higgins absolutely blew the Chargers up. So I'm going to take Rashad Bateman there. Who do I have winning this game? I kind of went back and forth on all of these, one-on-one matchups with quarterback and running back and wide receiver and tight end. I really did go back and forth. I'm actually not going to take, if I have to take a team, I'm going to take Jay Gill to win. But my official pick for the, weekly picks is under 199.5. So under 200 if you want to go that way. If you want to parlay that with a Jay Gill money line, go ahead, be my guest. But my official pick is under 200 total points. Last week, guys, I went 4-2 on my picks. So my season total is 31-35. Looking to go 6-0 this week. Or 5-1. Because I picked Colin to win. So 5-1, hopefully. Final segment for this forum video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let's start some conversations. I'd love to hear from you guys. Like the video, like the podcast, whatever. I don't fucking know. Rate it, whatever it is. At number 12, I have We Are Shit. Although not the lowest record in the league, I'm aware, I'm still not completely sold on Mr. Marmonti's team yet, so we're going to give him one more week just to see. I think number 11 still has better potential, even though, again, they just won against them, but I'm not going to be overreactive. At number 11, I do have Chris's team. It's not because of whatever reason. I think they're both missing the playoffs, but I think this team has a lot of good pieces, so for finishing out the year, I think it will finish at least 11. Not going to say too much on them because, the lower teams in the league, I guess Tony could potentially win out and turn it around. That'd be fucking insane. Not likely. And number 10, off to Grandma. I don't know if I should put this team lower. Maybe. Because 7 straight losses, but the players are just there and they're not injured. I don't know. This will be the weirdest thing I've ever seen out of fantasy football. Good player names, high player, big value names, not highest in points against, but just can't win games. I don't know how this is even possible. So I'm sorry to you, AJ. I don't know. This is the weirdest. I've never seen this before. I never have. And number 9. Bear down. Yeah. Tough fall. I expect this team to be completely out of the playoffs this year. Once was 5-2, atop of his division by a couple games actually, falling off the face of the earth. And I have to say, large partly due to the running back position. He was so adamant. Maybe it was just him being lazy. I get it. He started a new job. That's more important than fantasy football to some people. And for Brock, he didn't care to make a move off of that. He didn't even care to play someone off the waiver wire. You're going to miss the playoffs now, dude. You're going to miss the playoffs now. You waited too long for Jonathan Brooks. Raheem Mostert was just not good in the regular season this year. And I'm sorry. Number 8. Really happy for this team. Moving on up. Killer offseason. Or you like that, as the nameplate shows, because I'm too lazy to change it. I might change it just for respect, so we'll see which one pops up on the screen. Nevertheless, Judson's team has had a crazy season. 2-0 dominant team, 4 losses. Everyone got injured. Everyone looked, everything was terrible. Worst scoring game of all time. And now he's back in the playoff mix, honestly. He's fighting for a wild card spot. He's in the hunt. A 7-7 team will make the playoffs, but maybe there's 2 7-7 teams, right? Maybe there's 3. Who knows? Who says killer offseason can't be one of those 7-7 teams? The season's not over. His team is in a good spot. I think 3 straight wins now for Judson. Very happy for the kid. Number 7, I have Thank You to Mar. Off of a great win against the Guardians last week, he's on a 3-game win streak right now. His season was thought to be over. Everyone wrote this team off. And here he comes. He's made some good moves. He's a more well-rounded team now. Even without Derrick Henry, he's got Joe Burrow, which that's the worst trade I think I've ever made in my fucking life. I don't know why I did it, especially because Tajay Spears can't get injured, or he can't get healthy, and Tony Pollard was supposed to be the one getting injured, but he hasn't. Chase Brown, fantastic. Cortland Sutton and Calvin Ridley, PPR machines. Tight end, it was a problem. Maybe Dallas Goedert fixes it. I don't put too much stock into that, but Khalil Shakir, holy crap, I think will be the steal of the draft this year whenever we vote on it, because he is just fantastic. Fighting for a playoff spot, 5-6. The division is wide open right now, 3-way tie for first, so that's why I have Thank You to Mar at number 7. At number 6, I have Breece's backpack. Yes, falling again with the competitiveness of these last few weeks. A lot of teams going on some win streaks and losing streaks, Jay Gill being one of the losing streak teams. That's coming back to bite him because now his wild card position is up in the air, truthfully. He was 6-3 a couple weeks ago, clear-cut number 2 overall team in the league, and now sitting at 6th in the league. And that's because of a few concerns. Quarterback is a concern. Kareem Hunt is a concern. Xavier Worthy is a concern, okay? You have great tight ends and decent wide receivers, but how much can you trust them? I don't know. It's very possible that this team misses the playoffs. I don't think it's a shoo-in for this team to make the playoffs. Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, although have been playing pretty good, there's still a stack. It's tough to do that. Maybe you make a move. I don't know. I would be scared of Kareem Hunt on my team because Pacheco's going to come back, and even if you do make the playoffs, which I think you're projected to do, how comfortable are you playing Kareem Hunt in the playoffs? Number 5, the 08 Lions. Although they're 5-6, the highest 5-6 team, obviously in the league right now, I believe. Number 3 overall team based on schedule, playoff, formatting. His team is good. His team is really, really good. I don't know why it has this roller coaster boom or bust effect. Last week went off. Week before that, dudded. Week before that went off. Week before that, dudded and lost. It's a weird roller coaster season. 3-way tie for first. All with 5-6 records. I think you have the better team. But you never know. An easy matchup this week, you could be looking at 6-6 square in the face. Again, you just don't know what'll happen. Saquon looks great. Jahmyr Gibbs looks great. DK Metcalf is back. He looked great. The only concern I have, tight end. I know Jonnu Smith has been fantastic, but how long can that keep up? And then the health of DeAndre Swift, Mike Evans, Jaden Reed, and Jordan Love. The pack sacks, unfortunately, dead, I think. One of the higher scoring teams in the league. One of the higher points allowed teams in the league.
It's late, but I felt the need to send a video. I know the 08 Lions got a lot better tonight, and some people may argue against that, but I didn't do this for my team. This was an unselfish trade to open up the eyes to this trade formula. That's why I made this trade. I did not want CMC on my team. I really did not. But I had to do this to open your guys' eyes to how corrupt and awful this trade formula is. Looking at it, I could have traded Josh Downs and Zach Charbonnet for CMC according to the average points and the position rankings. That is how fucking trash this trade formula is. So, again, I did not want CMC on my team at all. But I had to take that blow just to show you guys that this trade formula is not the move.
At number 4, I have the Guardians of Your Mom's House. This is getting really scary. Two of the worst losses you can have in a season, just mismanagement. And that's all it's been. All 5 losses have been you fucked up awards. That's not good. You can't do that in this league. I'm not getting away with it. Last season, these things went my way. I was coming out on Monday night games, I was able to hold people off, whatever the fact, and I haven't been able to do that this season. So it's been costing me games. I like my team. Jaden Daniels is starting to really concern me. But James Conner I do love, and I love the handcuff of him and Trey Benson. Tony Pollard is scaring me, unfortunately. I made some bad deals. I made some bad trades. The CD Lamb trade was great, but now it looks like the George Pickens trade, I don't know, because Chase Brown's really, really good. Now I'd probably rather have Joe Burrow. Maybe should have kept him, or at least traded him for more, because holy hell. What can you really say? Except there's nothing else you can really do at this point besides you have to show up these next 2 weeks. Again, everyone's out on bye this week. I'm not expecting to win. Get the 7 wins. Your points for is there, so even in the event of a 7-7 tiebreaker, I think my points for can keep me, kind of stiff-arming some other teams, and I can sneak into the playoffs. And that's the only goal now. It's not look at for a first-round bye. It's not look at whatever. Now the goal is just make the playoffs. No more you fucked up awards. Number 3, Team DD. Coming in at number 3. Love the Derrick Henry move for him in terms of aiding and adding some star power, but you lose some of that wide receiver depth. You kind of saw it last week. D-Hop sucked. Derrick Henry didn't win you the week on his own, which I think is what you were trading for. It kind of goes back to when Colin traded for Saquon. You didn't really get that huge game like you kind of traded for. This week maybe is a little different for you for Derrick Henry, hopefully for your sake, but don't put too much into it. All in all, though, you have Isaiah Pacheco coming back on top of Jalen Hurts and Derrick Henry and Nico Collins and Brock Bowers and Juwan Jennings. Sneaky great play right there. And James Cook, who could forget. This team, top to bottom, is one of the best on paper. It's just, can they perform? And is he going to get unlucky with bye weeks? He has Derrick Henry on bye in week 14. Will that come back to kill him? Sitting at 6-5, I think he's going to be okay. Something to monitor, though. Number 2, a new number 2, the highest this team has been all season. I have the Dogs. Conveniently, these top 2 are the matchup for this week. But the Dogs, fantastic season. Fantastic turnaround. He was 2-4 at one point, now 7-4. It's crazy how good fantasy football can be to some people. He has definitely hit his stride in this mid part of the season. Was it too early? I don't know. This week, however, a lot of bye weeks, probably not going to win, but that's okay. He's going to be stopping, hopefully, Mez's attempt to break his all-time win streak record. That's something that the boys can play for. That's something that the Dogs can play for. In terms of a team structure, Najee has been great this year. Terry McLaurin has been great this year. Jefferson, I think, was one of the most underratedly great moves for a team because he stirs up the wide receiver room so good. Obviously, Travis Kelce's been on fire. Bijan Robinson, Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen and Bijan are a great combo there. I think he made a great move. I think it goes to show people that when you can make one-for-one moves. Those small, it wasn't a small move because it was for Justin Jefferson, but those small moves, in theory, they can do so much for your team in terms of overall point structured because you have now points coming from the wide receiver room. It's great, right? It's great. So I'm really happy for the Dogs there. The Dogs are here to stay. The manager has confirmed in terms of team name. Can this team make a deep playoff run? I think so. The only concern I have is that Terry McLaurin's going to have a Philadelphia defense in round 2 of the playoffs. As I haven't looked at many other players on this team, but that's the big concern for me. Maybe you fucking bench him that week. I don't know. But that's where your mind gets to go to now. Right? You didn't really get to do it last season because it was just about, I need to make the playoffs, I need to make the playoffs, I need to make the playoffs. Well, now you have a 1-game advantage in the division. You're on a roll. I think you're going to make the playoffs easy. It's honestly now, go for that first round bye. But I think the first round bye is going to come between the Dogs, Team DD, and the Guardians. Right now, it looks like the Dogs are in the driver's seat. Play for that first round bye, and then maybe play for the playoffs in round 2 in the championship. Adjust your team accordingly. Number 1, no surprise, it's Can't Chubb Check. Again, now in the record books for his first ever division title. Congratulations, Mez. Great job for you, dude. Already got you marked down, like I said. Tied the win streak record. Huge accomplishment there. Looking to break it this week. And it's because you have a great team. No trades this year either. It's just one of the best drafts I've ever seen out of someone. If you guys want to go through his position rankings, we'll do it right now. Number 1, quarterback. Number 7, running back, and that's when he missed 3 games. Number 11, running back. Number 2, wide receiver. Devontae Adams, this will be a little skewed. Wide receiver 38, but he's averaging 13. Number 5, tight end. And then in his flexes, he has a number 18 running back. A lot of games missed with injury. I think 3 games missed with injury. And then a running back 33 for his flex, obviously Tyrone Tracy. It's the best core group of players in this league, bar none. I mean, hands down, no one can compete with that. It's very impressive for Can't Chubb Check. Reaping the benefits of the best draft I think we've ever seen. So congrats to you, Mez. Another week. Now you are the leader in number 1 weeks. I mean, what a season you've had, right? Just so many accolades for Mez this season. You're going to absolutely shake up the record books in a crazy way. Like I said, already got you for division title, already got you for your win streak record, already got you for, most wins this season. I don't think anyone else can get 10 wins except Ty. So that's the only other possibility, and you play him this week. So congrats to you there. Maybe you go for the win streak. Maybe the overall win total record. I think the win total record is 12. So this will be record watch still. With that out of the way, guys, I just want to recap the playoff bracket as of now and the percent chances to make the playoffs. Chris is out of it, but Judson moving on up to about a 20% chance to make the playoffs. And Brock falling to a 20% chance to make the playoffs. Last week he was at 51%, I do believe. Now sitting at 22%. Looks like the 08 Lions now have a 70% chance to make the playoffs to win that division. Reese's Backpack still has a 73% chance, but if Judson wins this week, that's going to be really, really interesting. When you go to the playoff bracket, obviously Mez has that first round bye. Tyler has that first round bye. The 4-5 game would be a division matchup between Team DD and the Guardians. The winner of that game would go to play Can't Chubchek. So right now, you kind of don't want to get the 4 or 5 seed, because that means you have to play Can't Chubchek in round 2. And then the 3-6 matchup would be the 08 Lions and Breeze's Backpack. They would face the Dogs in the next round. Honestly, I don't know if I'd want to play the Dogs in the second round either. So this is going to be awesome to monitor and track. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, like I said, leave a like, comment down below, text in the chat, send some trades, we can still make some trades. Dom and AJ just did last night, at the time I'm recording this, so it's the season never stops. With the Lambert rule kicking in, the only teams that have restrictions are Mez, because he has a clinched playoff berth. He can no longer trade with Chris. I know it's not mathematically eliminated, but he has 8 losses, so he's not going to make the playoffs. It's impossible. But the trade deadline is week 13, so you have this week to make trades, and then I believe all of next week to make trades too. So then week 14, no more trading, obviously. With that out of the way, guys, hope you all enjoyed. Good luck to everybody this week except Colin. I hope your whole team forgets to show up. All right, see you guys. Bye.